Thank you for joining us for this edition of David's Question of the Week, presented by NM Fiber Network. As New Mexico's statewide middle mile backbone, we're committed to keeping you informed about the technologies, opportunities, and challenges shaping connectivity. Here's this week's question.
Broadband access across New Mexico, across the state of New Mexico, is important, and a collaborative atmosphere amongst the providers is also of crucial importance. Barring that, a collaborative atmosphere amongst providers that has banded together, like NM Fiber Network, to create an option for a middle mile, that's another tier above that. It's important because network collaboration amongst the telecom companies has existed since the inception of telecom. That's to say, if a customer in a location, whether it's a big city, small town, or a rural area, needs to access a service or a location in another state, say the capital of New Mexico, in 𝗕𝗶𝗰𝗁, Santa Fe, rather, if they needed connections to Washington, D.C., they would have to go through perhaps multiple providers, telecom providers, to get there. The advent of a state network allows you to do that more efficiently. If you imagine a painting that's more of a mosaic, you can tell what shape and what it's trying to interpret by looking at it holistically. But if you're required to put it together in parts, like you would, say, a stained glass window, you're still going to notice the lines for every connection, the borders of every piece of glass that get in the middle of the image. You can get the picture of the image, but there's things in the way. When we call the existing network before dedicated middle mile a mosaic type of network, that's what we're referring to. It comes together, it gets the job done. You can still see the picture of the image, but there's lines in the middle. And those lines you can't remove because they're part of the technology that was used to put it together. From a middle mile network standpoint, like the kind that NM Fiber Network has, we've removed that. We've removed it simply because we've used the fiber or the interconnections that exist amongst all our members and created a native fiber network amongst that, so that the network itself is a whole picture of the services that we provide for our communities without any obstacles or any barriers or any type of entry points like you would see in a stained glass, for example, or a painting created by pieces and parts. You're able to see the big picture without anything in the middle. And all that means from my layman's standpoint is that the communication doesn't have to start and stop as many times to get from point A to point Z. It simply connects and gets there as quickly and efficiently as possible. And because of the nature of technology and the nature of our advancements in research and developments that have come to pass just in the last 5 years, 2 to 3 years even, the latency requirement for a lot of those services has only increased. They require better and faster and more reliable interconnection for those services to work for everyone. And so NM Fiber Network is one of those reasons that those services are going to be able to come to pass and come to fruition and be enjoyed by all the folks that make up the state of New Mexico and the rural areas in the state of New Mexico where our member providers provide that last mile service.
Connection fuels opportunity, and at NM Fiber Network, we're building the backbone that makes that possible. Thanks for joining us for David's Question of the Week. Till next time, stay connected, stay curious, and for more information, go now to nmfibernetwork.com.